Hi, we're Garrett and Kathy Pashusta of the Grit and Polish, and today we're talking about our laundry room reveal.
Yes, this is really exciting to be here in this room because, we started renovating literally 6 months ago.
April, I looked back.
Yeah,
April.
and so this is the first finished space that is put in place since we started that renovation.
Yeah. So, if you guys remember, we started this space, the kitchen, and the pantry all at once because they're all basically intertwined. So this is the only space that's done. The kitchen and the pantry are still a month or more away.
So if you remember what it looked like before, it was basically this really unused pantry room that we had just thrown a rack up in. And the door used to be right here. And then it was tied into the next room over, which had the laundry in it. And so it
was like this dead end room. You couldn't actually leave it besides the way you came. So there was only one door that came into this space. There was this little window right here.
Yeah, there was an interior operable window that you could the kids loved.
Well, it was there's a banquette on that side.
House and restaurant and
so they could stand up on the banquette
stand and
actually crawl through. They like to crawl through into this space. It was kind of actually a fun little nook, but it was really random, and this room basically had no point at all other than storage. They did have a large bank of windows right here, which were really just panes of glass that were attached with molding.
Yeah, they were definitely DIY windows. Just panes of glass.
And not well done DIY.
Yeah.
One cool thing about the location of this laundry room is that our laundry lines are literally right out this door. So now we can do laundry, do the wash here and take the laundry right out the door and hang it up to dry. So that's pretty cool.
Well, and we should back up a little bit, and because the wall of windows that somebody had built in here was literally in front of stairs that went down.
Yeah.
So it was quite obvious that at some point this was actually probably an open porch. This was probably an open wall right here, and then the interior door to the house was most likely here.
Yeah.
And so we were
when we started redoing this space, we found the floor was continuous right here. It was obvious there had been originally a door here, and out here, with the stairs, it was obvious. So it was kind of uncovering a little bit of what the house used to be. This house was built in 1912, and it's seen, a few renovations. So it's always kind of fun to take it back down to what was here originally. Yeah, and obviously this is no longer a porch. To do the laundry, we really needed a conditioned interior space. But our goal with the window placement and size was to really get that feel of an old porch. So we took the windows all the way up. We added these two transoms, and hopefully it kind of looks like the original proportion of windows. So that was our goal, and honestly, this space is so bright and light. You can see all the greenery behind us. It's quite a nice space to do a not so nice chore in.
Yeah, there was a debate at the beginning about whether or not we wanted to do this big, huge renovation on the kitchen and completely open up all these walls and, maybe make this into more of a seating area with a table and, some kind of built-in desk or something. In the end, obviously, we opted to keep this as the laundry room, so we didn't end up moving, the laundry out of this kind of area of the house. And I think it's going to be really functional, and it's going to work really well for us.
Yeah, and one cool thing about that decision is that these spaces are still the same size and shape as the original builders of the house intended, which is kind of fun when you've got an old historic house like this that's really, it feels historic. It's not one of those ones that's been slapped together. It is the whole house. You just feel it's steeped in history. So having kind of the original placement of the rooms is kind of I think it's kind of cool. I don't know what this room would have been used for originally other than maybe just the porch, but probably wasn't laundry. They didn't have laundry machines back in 1912 though, right? You'd scrubbed it. So maybe they did. Maybe this is where they put their laundry pail to take outside and, scrub those clothes. But anyways, it's just kind of a fun thing and in a historic house to really keep that original flow. And it actually works pretty good with this door right here. The other exterior door, the other back door basically is right that way. So you can open both doors and get a straight shot. So I imagine next summer, these doors are going to be propped open and the kids are going to be making, laps around the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing like about the room so far?
Okay, well, obviously the light. Well, is that obvious? The light. The light is my favorite thing. It's just like so much natural light comes in this way, and it goes all the way into the kitchen now, which is really cool. I also really love the paneling. There's original tongue and groove, what is it, beadboard on the ceiling.
Yep.
And then there's the original exterior siding of the house that is wrapped, on the top, 3 feet of this room. And then we added this tongue and groove, which is a mid-tree product that we're pulling into the kitchen and the pantry as well. And so it's really cool. It's just like layered. It's all painted white, so it kind of, it blends together and works well, but it adds a lot of just adds a lot of layers and texture and kind of interest. So that's probably my favorite thing. What about you? What's your favorite thing?
I think the moldings came together really well in the paneling. I think that was all, we weren't sure exactly how, the base and the shelves and the door moldings were all going to tie together. So I think they did come together really nicely in the end. I really like this, how the windows turned out. The contrast of the dark on the white trim is really cool. And so one thing we were debating about too in this space is, do we go with the wood interior, for the windows, or do we just go with a vinyl window that's going to be much less expensive? And obviously we went for the wood interior and stained it to match the same color tones as the rest of the molding, or the rest of the molding in the house, and which is dark. And I think that contrast really adds a nice, rich, kind of higher end look to the room and breaks up some of the white, which, if you are following the grit and polish for very long, that's a pretty consistent theme throughout most of Kathy's designs. So I think in here, for me, as kind of like liking that little bit of more natural, like, richness, I think this was probably my favorite part. Cool.
Yeah, I agree. The marble countertops, really awesome too. This is actually left over from, if you guys remember, like, rewind 2 years ago, the porch house reno. That backsplash, we actually bought a slab that was like 3 by 8 to cut out that marble slab backsplash right behind the stove there. And so we had 5 feet left over of that 3 foot wide slab. And so we were using that in the office as a desk, but we never really loved it. And we're like, well, maybe someday we'll use this. And it's perfect here because laundry machines are deeper than like the standard 24 countertop. So I love that these extend the entire, depth of the machines, and there's going to be like so much room for folding laundry, for laundry baskets. I mean, I'm sure this is not always going to look picked up and pretty, but it's going to be so functional. Yeah, so we ended up with not a ton of like hidden storage in this space. We had planned for a cabinet over here, but in the end we built this DIY error, which, if we're talking about favorite features, the error is definitely one of my, I don't mean like error like I made a mistake, I mean error like air dried error. So Garrett basically built this for me and I love it. It's probably the thing besides the washing machine that I've used the most in this room while renovating, because it is so easy to pull your your workout clothes or things that you don't want dried and just put them right on this error. And it's on pivots, so it goes up and down. So once you hang stuff, if you don't want to see it, you just pull it up and it's tucked away near the ceiling, which is also where, hot air rises. So it's also the warmest spot in the house to help dry that stuff. So that is a really cool feature. And I'm already thinking like, well, if we ever move, taking the error. like it's so cool to have.
I can always make you another one.
You can. Yeah. And it was only like $50, which is really cool because the ones I had pinned were, like 10 times that. So we have the storage right there, the shaker peg basically just hooks here. It's got a tiny shelf as well, but this is really going to be great for, I'm imagining, leashes for the dog, and I don't know, just who knows what. But
one thing I would say about these shelves and the shaker peg shelves is that they are really easy to put together.
Yeah.
Like, they are quick, they're easy. Like, you do not have to go to Target or Walmart and go buy a $30 or $40 shelf. You can
That's
make
like
these
crappy made of MDF or whatever.
Yeah, you can make these like quickly, and they look great, and they're cute, and I think this is one thing that is like super easy to do. So talking layout here, this room is almost dialed in to 6 feet by 6 feet. And I think that is definitely enough space.
Yeah.
I think it's also probably the minimum amount of space. Like if it was too much smaller, I think it would start to feel just a little crowded. You know, there's enough to have a nice walkway here still between the edge of the counter and the machines and, you know, the doorway.
It still feels almost spacious, like how much room there is right here. There is a door, an interior door right here that will, you know, prop right here, so there'll be a little bit less room. But in general, it just feels like there's plenty of room for this space. But I also wouldn't want it like any shorter than 6 feet this way, because basically we've got a washer, dryer, and then a pull-out laundry cart. So, and that's everything you need and basically nothing you don't need. So.
It pretty much maximizes like the space in this layout. So that was good. We also were able to not do too much with the floors. That was kind of a cool thing. We didn't know what we're gonna do in the end for the flooring. Back here we've gone through, if you've watched any of the other kitchen update videos, you know, we've had a few different ideas for
we're doing stone for sure. No, we're doing new like white oak floors for sure. And then finally we're like, no, we're not doing anything. We're leaving them. So
So we defaulted to painting these because they definitely needed, you know, something. Because we weren't able to leave them. So, but we painted them. It's not even floor paint. It's
it's not. It is kind of like a higher quality. It's scuff proof. It's a
it's Valspar signature paint and
primer kind of mixed in with it.
It's not like a designer paint by any means or like super high end.
We actually just had a gallon of it hanging downstairs. So we were like, the day we decided to paint, we're like, well, let's see what colors we have. And so we went with this one. And I kind of love it because, you know, it would have been really easy to do like a total neutral or a white, like a grayish color. But I think the green just adds a little bit of interest. And it does feel kind of country, which this is a country farmhouse. Like it's a farmhouse in the country. So I think really just going with it, you know, going with that vibe is works well.
It's Hunter's white is the color. And we ended up top coating it with a little bit of polyacrylic. We put, I think, 2 or 3 coats of polyacrylic on it. And I've never done that before, but it is an awesome way to finish out a latex paint, especially for things like floors or shelves where you might get a little bit more traffic. If it's not a high gloss or like a cabinet specific paint, you can top coat it with polyacrylic and it takes all the tack out of the latex paint and gives it just that extra little bit of durability. And this, we used it for a while, a few weeks after we painted it, and it got dirty, and you know, we had kids coming through here. We were still doing a little bit of work. And then right before...
And you moved the washer and dryer in here. Like you slid them in place.
The appliances around a little bit, and it has held up awesome so far. It cleaned really well.
So far I am like... the light's kind of a fun one. I really wanted something that would feel like a light you would put in a porch, or something that's kind of like almost indoor, almost outdoor. And this guy is it's just so pretty. It works in any space, and we did hang it because the junction box is in the center of the room, but this walkway is off center. We hung the light with a hook, and that was kind of a cool look. One I really love. And then in the pantry, we got the same light, and it's going to be centered, you know, perfectly in the door as well. So hopefully you'll kind of see the repetition of similar things.
And this light fixture should tie in with the pendants over the island in the kitchen too. So
we tried to keep with the same finishes, like the old brass that is the brass that you see on the light fixture, as well as the shade opacity. Is that a word? We'll go with it. So those are going to match the kitchen, and that's kind of a nice way to tie these spaces in. Also, the color of the room, which is Benjamin Moore's Simply White, and the paneling is throughout the kitchen and the pantry. So these spaces are going to hopefully feel like one, but each have kind of a unique purpose.
We are going to have another reveal for the pantry and another reveal for the kitchen. So keep checking back for those. Hopefully, you know, the goal is to get those done in the next month or so.
Before Thanksgiving, not or so, the next month. We have like my entire family, so it's like 25 people coming for Thanksgiving. Yeah, but anyways, that is our laundry room. Hope you guys like it. If you like these videos, hit subscribe below, and also you can always leave a comment with questions or feedback. And yeah, thanks for watching.